Hello, welcome to Football is Life, here to round up the weekend, some of the little football news that's come out this week, and a look ahead to what we've got coming up. My name's Craig, welcome to the channel, Football is Life. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe. It's going nowhere, we're here to stay, rounding up the football, and nowhere else better to start than the weekend. Now, there's two ways of looking at it. Man City are Carabao Cup winners. They were superb. Pep Guardiola again, the serial winner. Got a real tune out of Man City this weekend. But the bigger question, I suppose, is did Arsenal bottle it? Yes or no? I mean, it was a mad kind of game to watch. It was looking like it could be a drab 0-0. I mean, Arsenal started well. The first 30 minutes were excellent. Arsenal started excellent. But then as the game wore on, I just feel Pep did a bit of a tactical one-over on Mikel Arteta. He just put an extra little body and just tightened up the midfield. Arsenal couldn't, after the first 15 minutes, couldn't then play through City. Got more frustrated as the game grew on. The tempo came out of the game. I mean, the keeper as well, Kepa. I mean, that's a debate. What if you're serious about winning the quadruple, serious about winning silverware? I know they like to stay loyal to these goalies in these other competitions, barring the Premier League, but I just really can't understand why a one-off game, why you wouldn't put your number one in. If you really want to win that trophy, put David Raya in. I mean, he's had a howler for the first goal. All right, we've not spoke about the match winner, and I feel bad that he's not at the top of this episode. But I think the keeper's performance is a big reason why it went south for Arsenal. They started the game well. They could have gone on another day and won that cup final. The keeper's had a howler, 1-0. And the kind of the momentum was building. There was no momentum from the goalie to play out quick, to try and kind of unsettle Man City. And it just played into City's hands. Like, it was slow. He's rolling his foot over the ball. There's no quick passing out and trying to play forward. They've got absolutely shelled in, shelled back. And kind of City, that players in there that are winners before, a manager that's won before, multiple times against, a more inexperienced manager on the cusp of great things, obviously, with Arsenal. But it was kind of like a bit of know-how and a bit of experience just totally done Arsenal over. I mean, like, even Bernardo Silva, like, been there, done it, was just on the day, was just class. And just so many players like that had that, yes, we know how to get over the line, playing against a team that was just become edgy, tactically outdone. And, Nick O'Reilly, what a player. Day after his 21st birthday, massive reason to celebrate. But, 2 goals in a cup final like that, 2 headers. The second goal was a beautiful goal. And it was kind of just confirmation of how they worked Arsenal around. And Arsenal really, really slipped up. For me, I think they bottled it. I suppose if you're going to lose a game or lose one of the trophies this season in the 4 that you're going for, that's probably the one to lose. But not good from Arsenal. Not a good day. Obviously, they're probably going to be safe in the league, and they're probably relieved they're not only 3 points above, because a result and a knock-on effect like that could have really affected the league. They should still get over the line with that. But, Arsenal had every reason to be confident at go at Man City. They've got through the Champions League. City have just gone out. And it was just a typical kind of, for a better phrase, like an old school game where it didn't matter who's been better this season. It was just on the day. They were outdone tactically and outdone by a team with a bit of better know-how. And City are champions of the Carabao Cup, another trophy, the 5th time Pep's won it. So just a great achievement and a serial winner. And he definitely got one over his old partner, Mikel Arteta, on Sunday. So an amazing place to start the episode. I didn't predict it. I think everybody and his horse was going for Arsenal, and rightly so. You would have fancied Arsenal on a one-off game, but I did say, the pitch is bigger. They could move Arsenal about, and so it proved to be. And yeah, a bad day at the office for Arsenal, and there's no worse place than Wembley to have an off day. So yeah, well done, Man City, fully deserved. Carabao Cup champions season 25-26. And then just a few Premier League games, obviously, this weekend. There's some big games. The biggest one to come to, I suppose, is Spurs. And oh my days, that yesterday against Forest is just an absolute diabolical display. And they just look so far off it. I mean, they barely look like they can pass the ball, just do the basics. It's so poor. I mean, could they go down? Will they go down? It's not looking good. It really is not looking good for Spurs. And they might well be in the Championship next season. Yes, they could still pull it out of the bag now, but, it's not looking good. And the more and more you get these sort of results, it's not looking great. I mean, they're just lucky that Villa kind of outdone West Ham yesterday, because they could have easily been in the bottom three, staring down the barrel. But Tottenham fans, I mean, you must want Tudor out already. It's just not great, and they just look a team totally lacking confidence, void of any idea. There's no unity there, and it's an easy 3 points for anyone that visits the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So we'll see how it goes over the next few weeks. It's obviously a quiet couple of weeks now with the international break, but Tottenham need to massively regroup and go again for these last few games, or they could seriously find themselves in the Championship, and just massive problems there, because there's no guarantee of getting back up if you go down. And I think it'll be the first time in their history they go down from the Premier League. So lots to play for, but shocking. Great for Forest. And if I was West Ham or Tottenham, if I was West Ham fan, I'd be licking my lips here thinking, yes, Tottenham are looking that desperate. We will and we can stay up. So not good. And I mean, another manager that's coming under a bit of pressure, rightly or wrongly, went out of the Champions League, is Liam Rossini. Now, I mean, Chelsea looked just way off again. Just another team kind of faltering to the edge of the season. I mean, that PSG result and over the two legs must have really knocked them, because they just looked like really way off. And Everton, decent structured team, and Moisey doing what he does. They just dismissed Chelsea without a problem, and it was convincing. And I'd be quite worried again if I was a Chelsea fan. That's not a good sign. But Everton fans can be dead delighted this year with Moyes picking up some great results. And yeah, just another really worrying result for a top team. So it's happening, isn't it? And then Newcastle Sunderland, obviously the derby. I backed a lot of draws this weekend, didn't I? But it was looking like it was heading towards a draw. Newcastle had a goal disallowed from a corner. Obviously, a lot of emotion around it. Lots going on. Players stopping the game with allegations. And, we won't go too far into that. But just not a great feeling around it. Trouble before and after the game. A big emotional day. And just, a massive moment for Sunderland right at the end to win it. A real off day for Newcastle. Another day where Eddie Howe is kind of defending his position as manager of the club. And, they've had a shocking week as well with the Barcelona defeat and then rolling into a derby defeat. So not good times for the Geordies. And Sunderland, well deserving, I suppose, of their win. Not an easy place to go. Winning the derby away from home, probably nothing sweeter in football than that. But a great result from Sunderland and a magnificent performance. And they deserve their moment of happiness, I suppose. It will be, a fairly quick episode, because there's no midweek football this week to look forward to. We've only got the internationals, which we're going to briefly touch on, but it's going to be an interesting international camp. But, what I wanted to say is the England squad's been named, 35 players. Obviously, Eze's come out injured, missed the cup final stage, and Harvey Barnes is going to get his chance, which is interesting. But I just can't believe that we've got a top right back or a midfield option in this country playing again at the top level of his game, playing well for Real Madrid, who, have knocked Man City out of the Champions League. They move on. And I just can't believe, for whatever reason, he doesn't fancy him. You've got other players in that squad. You can't tell me some of those players are better than Trent Alexander-Arnold. So why he's not been picked, I don't really know. It would have been the perfect camp to bring him in and have a look at him with the group for 2 games, nothing to lose. You can't tell me he's not in the top 35 players in this country, let alone not the number one possibly in his position. So I don't get it. I think Tuchel's always been around, having, he made the point with Bellingham, didn't he, to earn your place. He's made it that way. He's picked players on form. So there's a lot of pluses with Tuchel, but surely when it comes to a World Cup, you're going to want Trent in there and you're going to want him as part of the squad before we go to the World Cup. So it's an interesting one. I firmly stand on the, if I was England manager, I'd be picking him. So yeah, a strange one. So a little bit on the, the England squad there, but looking forward to the two games. Obviously they've gone with a massive selection to keep people on their toes. I think it looks like the Japan game's going to be the better one, with the proven kind of players that have been playing for England for the last 12 months in that kind of squad, and having a look at the others in the first game. So yeah, international week. It's not my favourite week because we're missing out on Premier League football and not a lot to look forward to there, but get these England games done, get onto the World Cup in the summer, and then we'll be right at it when the Premier League stops. I'll be doing lots of episodes about the World Cup. So looking forward to that. But yeah, Trent, please let us know, comment, like and subscribe. Should Trent Alexander-Arnold be in this England squad? I firmly believe he should be, and he should be looked at. And it's quite baffling. And I know if you've got other players out there that you think, please comment, let us know what other players should be in this England squad that are not in this England squad, because I know there's a few that have got in that were a few surprises, but a few that have been left out that are worth a chance. And should we be playing players like Henderson in their mid-30s, going to a World Cup? Should we be looking more at the future of getting younger midfielders in? That's another debate. But I'm also delighted that Lewis Hall has got in. Well-deserved, quality player, and he's got a real shout. Him and Nico O'Reilly, I mean, we are sorted for left-sided players, really, with them two quality players. But Nico O'Reilly today, walking into that England squad like, I'm the man, no doubt, and rightly so. And then the last one tonight, all right, on this episode is just, a massive rumour coming round. Even like people kind of releasing the news that the deal is done. Which is, I mean, he's so Mr. Newcastle and has been since he's joined. It's going to be a real big signing if Man United can get this over the line. I know they get linked with a lot of players, but this is a big one, I think, is Bruno Guimaraes going possibly to Man United. Could be a done deal already, people saying, but I just think, if I was a Newcastle fan, that's the last thing we need. They've got the investment, they've got the Saudi money. It's not worked out due to financial fair play. They must be upset with City's financial fair play not being sorted. They've not been able to spend the money that they really want. I know they're upgrading things off the pitch to make Newcastle look a more attractive team and club to play for bigger signings, but if you're constantly having your best players linked away from the club, like Tonali possibly, now Bruno, all but done to Man United, apparently, we can't quote it, but I just think if they lose Bruno to Man United this summer, it's a massive loss. Not the message you want to be sending. Newcastle fans not having a lot of cheer about at the moment, and that will just be the nail in the coffin. And they kind of look like they need a reset for next season, which is the last thing you want. You want the momentum building and players being added to that squad of quality. But if for whatever reason it's not working. But yeah. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. It's been great coming on. If you're playing some football during the week or watching, enjoy the games. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Be good.